what they want me to do too. What do you see is the role of social media technology in helping us deal with some of our greatest global issues? Did you ever envision Facebook as a catalyst for reform that it's become?
You know, when we were getting started at Harvard, I remember I had these conversations with a lot of my friends where we all really believed that something like what we've done would get built. Just none of us thought that we would be a part of it because we were college students. Like, how would we go build a company that a lot of people would use the services of? And you know, the things that we used to talk about, we used to go out and get pizza and hang out at local places and talk about like how different the world was going to be when people could connect more through the internet and could share more of what they want, and how that transparency and making the world more open and connected would be really transformative to a lot of things. And I think it starts off with giving people the ability to connect in ways that they couldn't before. And that's kind of the bottom-up effect that we're creating. It's making it so that people can now stay in touch with people that otherwise they wouldn't have been able to stay in touch with, right? I mean, a lot of it is because, frankly, maybe you'll call your parents or your 10 closest friends, maybe you'll hang out with your 30 closest friends, but you probably know hundreds of people, and it's like you're not going to necessarily make the time to go see all of them. But with tools like Facebook, you now have the ability to stay in touch with those people in a more passive way. It just makes it a lot easier. And I think that that's the basis. But we, I think over time, with that basis, you also will start to see some disruption in terms of how people relate to businesses and how businesses try to communicate with their consumers. I think that the dynamic there is going to have to be a lot more open, and I think you're already seeing that with the internet, is that businesses can't just like hide as like behind some big kind of corporate veil anymore. They really have to go out and engage with users in an open dialogue around issues that affect them. And I think that that's kind of starting to play out now. And then I think the longest term thing will be how tools like Facebook, but also just the broader internet, affect civic engagement and governance as well. And I do think in a way, the internet just gives everyone a voice, right? I mean, whether it's Facebook or something else that you're using, people now have an ability to share something, put their opinion out there, and have people hear it in a way that just wasn't possible 20 years ago, right, in practice. And I really think that the basis of all this is just this very kind of grassroots connectivity, the fact that people can now make friends and stay connected to their friends in an easier way than they were before. Therefore, they can share information with those people. Therefore, information about businesses that you're thinking about or governance issues that you're thinking about can be spread to your friends and spread through society a lot more easily. And I think the disruption will kind of happen that way. But there's some pretty cool, meaningful things that we see. One of our engineers, for fun, put together this site, peace.facebook.com. And what it does is it maps out the friendship connections that are being created on a day-to-day basis between countries and regions that historically have had very tense relationships, right? So between Israel and other countries in the Middle East, between other countries, that's just like an example, between other countries that historically have had pretty tough relationships. And it's pretty meaningful when you see the number of connections that are forming. It really is it's a symbol, and in practice, it is like this empathy developing in the world between like people who otherwise may have not had an ability to connect. And I just have to think that over the long term, that's going to create more understanding between countries, more reasonable policies, more empathy, and just a greater understanding of how we are all connected, because we are. I just don't think we fully understand it yet.